Walden, what we're going to do today is we're going to do the new CVTech clutch conversion to the MSP440 and 435, or most commonly known as the 1200C. We're going to do that for you today.
The process, when you bolt on your shaft to this motor plate, you're going to want to set your bearings and lock them in with this set all the way facing to the front of the machine. And then from the end of it, the shaft to the bearing right here, you want to have 7 inches and 7/16 from the end to the bearing. And then you want to have 5 5/8 inches from the end of the shaft to the collar. And at this point, you'll go ahead and bolt your motor plate back to your engine. Remember to put blue Loctite on your bolts. Make sure that this stub shaft is flush inside your flywheel. You want to put a thin coat of anti-seize on these shafts, and you'll be glad you did later on, because when it comes to pulling these back off, they need to be able to slip on and off pretty easy. Go ahead and slip our pulley on. Don't want to force it on there too hard. I mean, you may take a little bump to put it on, but you don't want to force it on because they don't tend to come back off too easy. When you're putting your clutch and your belt on this rider, make sure that it's going to go on, and if the pulley needs to be spread, there is a hole down here. It's metric threads. It's a M6 by 1.25 by 30 millimeter length on it. You'll need that. You just screw it in and it'll spread the clutch open for you, allowing the belt to slip further down in so you can put it over your top clutch. You want to go ahead and have your belt on your top clutch and slip it on to your tapered shaft. You don't want no anti-seize on that tapered shaft because that's where it's going to lock on. Go ahead and slide. At this point, you want to go ahead and slide your collar on. And then you'll set the set screws that'll hold your pulley in place against this spacer. Remember to use the blue Loctite on the set screws. Apply a thin coat of anti-seize to the input shaft on the gearbox. At this point, we will go ahead and install the other hub, U-joint hub. Remember to put blue Loctite on your set screws. You want to leave them loose until you get your U-joint set in place. spot of Loctite on each one of your bolts that holds your U-joint to the hubs. And you'll line all of this up. Start your bolts in there.
After you've installed the drive line, the next thing you want to do is to fasten down the hydraulic pump with these two bolts here. Also, you want to tighten down all of your motor mount bolts through the frame to tighten down the engine plate assembly. The next phase in the process is to mount the seat frame back to the frame. You'll do that with these 4 bolts here. First thing you want to do after you get the seat frame set is you want to run all your wires, your alternator, your starter. Should look like that with, and then zip tie it when you get done to make it look clean. After you've hooked up your wiring, you want to hook up your air breather hose to your turbo. Next thing you want to do is from the pump to the manifold block, you want to hook this hose up right here to the top of the manifold block. Next you'll hook your hose up to the bottom of the cooler. It's pretty important that when you're working with hydraulics, if at all possible, when you take a hose loose from a fitting, to cap that fitting to keep contaminants out. You'll tighten that one down next. Next you want to install your glow plug wire. Next you want to hook up your oil sending unit. Next you want to hook up your fuel kill switch plug wire. Next you want to hook up your kill switch and your seat plugs. Next you want to hook your temperature sending unit up. Next you want to hook up your fuel lines. Next you want to hook up your throttle linkage. Next you want to hook your ground strap and your eyelet loop for your throttle cable to the flywheel plate. Next you want to install the cover for the clutch pulley. Next step in the process is to attach your pitch control. And this concludes the installation of the CVTech clutch, the MSP440. Last thing you want to do is attach your ground wire, hook your battery back up. It's always safe practice to disconnect your battery when you're doing anything to the riding trowel mechanically. Hope this helps. Have a great day.